Now,
immigration enforcement steps up again around Chicago as Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino returns to the Midwest.
Improving transit and making the system more modern, what the new Northern Illinois Transit Authority will do for riders.
Above freezing and continuing to climb this week. Cheryl Scott will let you know when temperatures reach into the 40s. That's in the AccuWeather forecast. But let's begin tonight with immigration enforcement. A new round of raids taking place around Chicagoland today.
Community groups speaking out against the federal operations. ABC 7's Trey Ward has an update tonight from Little Village.
Community members speaking out against today's immigration enforcement that they say ended with several people taken into custody by federal agents within one day across the Chicago area. In fact, we just got this photo from the Department of Homeland Security announcing the arrest of a man accused of throwing a rock through the back door of this Border Patrol vehicle. The agency says that man is an undocumented immigrant from Mexico with a criminal history of domestic battery, aggravated assault, burglary, and domestic violence. And we also have videos that appear to show multiple people taken into custody this afternoon here in Little Village. Another video showing Commander Gregory Bovino and a camera crew at the Menards near 23rd and Cicero. This scene playing out over and over across the city.
We have determined that there were over 15 detainments today in the southwest side. We witnessed how agents were driving their cars without license plates, the wrong way on a one-way streets, running red lights, and just behaving recklessly. This is not law. They are the real danger in our communities.
The harm on our families and neighbors is real and shows a disdain for the law and Constitution.
Now, this comes after Bovino and most of his force left the area last month, leaving thoughts that Operation Midway Blitz could be winding down in the area for the time being. But in a statement today, DHS saying in part, quote, "As we said a month ago, we aren't leaving Chicago and operations are ongoing." Now, we did ask DHS how many agents could have returned here to the Chicago area and have yet to get a response. In Little Village, I'm Trey Ward, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Vandals have damaged a provocative nativity scene outside of an Evanston church. A Lake Street church says it staged the nativity scene with a modern immigration message. Mary and Joseph are wearing gas masks, and Roman centurions are masked and dressed as ICE Border Patrol agents. And look, baby Jesus' hands were zip tied. A shocking image done on purpose.
We knew that people might find the images upsetting. They are upsetting. It's upsetting that this is happening. It's upsetting to see happen, even represented on dolls and mannequins, the things that are happening.
Last week, vandals nearly flattened the whole display. Church leaders say the nativity will remain as it is now until Christmas Eve.
Governor Pritzker signing a landmark transit funding and reform bill today. ABC 7's Sarah Schulte explains why this new law is so important to those who take public transportation.
It avoids fare increases and layoffs. Illinois' new big transit bill also creates a new agency that integrates all modes of public transportation in the Chicago area.
Metra, CTA, PACE. Historically, all three transit agencies have been operating separately. Riders pay a variety of fares along with multiple apps or fare cards.
They should have one app on their phone or one card in their pocket and one schedule. Transit should be easy, safe, clean, and timely.
That is exactly what the $1.5 billion transit bill aims to do. Today, Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the historic legislation into law.
This new law is designed to modernize Illinois' transit systems from the far northern reaches of our state to east and west central Illinois to southern Illinois.
The bill replaces the Regional Transit Authority, RTA, with an agency called the Northern Illinois Transit Authority, NITA for short. For the first time, the governor will have input on the board with 5 appointments.
The big board will have more power and set service standards, and that's a great improvement.
Besides having one app or fare card, NITA will have the authority to streamline and integrate service and capital plans among Metra, CTA, and PACE, so there's no repetition or overlap. For years, each transit agency operated in its own silo.
We're ensuring that the agencies are held accountable to certain levels of service, which include frequency, reliability, accessibility, and so much more.
In addition, the new legislation prioritizes safety by creating a law enforcement task force. The Cook County Sheriff, Chicago Police, and other organizations will work together to address crime hotspots on all public transit. Sarah Schulte, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Sarah, thank you for that. The bill will be paid for by raising the region's sales tax, increasing tollway fees, and shifting some of the state's gas tax revenue from road projects to mass transit. The legislation will go into effect on June 1st.
It's time for a look at our weather forecast. There's a live look at Millennium Park, the Christmas tree looking fabulous, and we're thawing out. We're above freezing.
Oh, it's so balmy. The city's lit up in red and green. It's 35 degrees at this hour. I mean, it was like so cold the last 5 days.
Oh, it was brutal for the Bears game last weekend. I'm telling you, it's amazing how we acclimate. And then 35, you're like, I'll just wear a sweatshirt.
Short sleeve weather.
Right, soon enough, Cheryl.
Chicago strong. We made it through.
Yes.
Right now, we are finally seeing our numbers above that freezing mark this afternoon, pretty much area-wide, as our temperatures begin to dip just a little bit. But right now, we're at 35. We climbed above freezing around noon, 12:30 today. So the hours we spent with below freezing temperatures, 145 hours. We endured and we made it through. It's been about 5 days since our temperatures have been above that freezing mark. Outside right now, beginning to dip below freezing back to the west, closer to the lakefront. We are still in the mid-30s. As we go into the next 2 days, temperatures near and above average. Tomorrow, mostly quiet. Winds start to pick up. Thursday into the 40s, but then a big transition with some rain and some wind. Temperatures come crashing back down overnight Thursday into Friday. High of only 26. Notice those morning temperatures on Friday, low teens. So we could definitely find some icy slick spots with the pavement being wet and those temperatures quickly dropping back below freezing early Friday morning. So please be alert for that. For tonight, up to the north, some clouds and some light drizzle. Keeping our eyes on this. Can't rule out passing drizzle or two this evening, but mostly quiet and dry. That next system on Thursday, we'll time it out coming up in a few minutes, guys.
All right, Cheryl, see you then. Prosecutors in Los Angeles say Nick Reiner will be charged with the murders of his parents. Legendary movie director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were found dead in their home Sunday. Today, prosecutors announced the couple's son Nick will be charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Investigators say the victims were stabbed to death, did not give many other details today about this investigation. Nick Reiner was arrested in a public park near USC's campus. The LA District Attorney says he will undergo a mental health evaluation, which is standard procedure. And ABC News is airing a special on Reiner's legacy and the investigation into his and his wife's deaths. That airs tonight on ABC 7 at 9.
There are new images tonight released of a person of interest in the deadly Brown University shooting. The FBI describing the person as a man with a 5'8" stocky build. And they are now offering a $50,000 reward for any information leading to an arrest. 2 students were killed during a study session on campus on Saturday. At least 9 others were hurt. Police say the university was specifically targeted.
Going to start trying to piecemeal back on those videos to find any other information that they can.
So many people walk those streets where he's been shown, and it feels like such a violation.
Providence Public Schools has canceled all after-school activities for the remainder of the week out of an abundance of caution.
The newest jobs report shows unemployment ticking up to its highest rate in 4 years. The U.S. added 64,000 jobs in November, but lost 105,000 in October. Unemployment is at more than 4.5%. Experts say companies seem reluctant to hire new employees as they adjust to artificial intelligence and unpredictable policies in Washington. The government shutdown delayed the release of the numbers until today. Well, an insider's look at the Oval Office, the president's chief of staff making some eyebrow-raising comments as she opens up about the administration.
Giving children more places to play in Chicago, how the leaders of the city's first free play space are hoping to help even more families.
And later, making tweaks to the city budget. We'll update you on where things stand to avoid a city government shutdown.
Debbie. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles sharing an account of the president's first year back in office in a series of interviews published today by Vanity Fair. ABC's Christian Cordero has the details now from Washington.
She's one of the most powerful people in Washington. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, often sitting just off frame in televised meetings, is in the spotlight today after sharing striking details about the Trump administration in a series of interviews with Vanity Fair. Wiles gave a range of descriptions for members of the cabinet, including telling Vanity Fair the president has an alcoholic's personality, saying President Trump, who has repeatedly said he doesn't drink alcohol, operates with a view that there's nothing he can't do. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. And compares the president to her alcoholic father. Trump today said he's not offended by Wiles' word choice, telling the New York Post he has a possessive and addictive type personality, reiterating that he doesn't drink. Wiles rarely speaks publicly, known more as the behind-the-scenes architect of Trump's re-election campaign and a fierce loyalist in his inner circle.
Everybody at this table has done a fantastic, and Susie, thank you for doing a great job as our Chief of Staff. First female Chief of Staff in the history of our country, which is pretty amazing when you think of it, right? And she's the best. Thank you very much. Great job.
Wiles calls the article a disingenuously framed hit piece on her and the administration, alleging significant context was disregarded to paint a chaotic and negative narrative. On the Epstein files, Wiles blasts Attorney General Pam Bondi, saying in the article, quote, "I think she completely whiffed on appreciating that that was the very targeted group that cared about this." Wiles tells Vanity Fair the president is named in the Epstein files, but denies he's, quote, in the file doing anything awful, and said he's on the manifest of Epstein's plane, telling the magazine they were, sort of young, single, whatever, sort of young single playboys together. She also says the Epstein files do not have any incriminating evidence of former President Bill Clinton, saying there's no evidence and the president was wrong about that. On Venezuela, Wiles suggests to Vanity Fair the attacks on boats at sea is ultimately about regime change, not drug smuggling. She tells Vanity Fair Trump, quote, wants to keep on blowing boats up until Maduro cries uncle. Rob, Cheryl, back to you in Chicago.
All right, thanks so much for that report. Now, back here, you've probably heard of a food desert, but what about play deserts? Well, Hello Baby is the city's first and free of charge place for families to take their children to just be children and play. So joining me live in our State Street studios on this Tuesday is Debbie Frisch. She is the founder of Hello Baby.
Hello, baby.
Hello Baby. And of course, the board president is Jennifer Mosley. They're getting ready for this big fundraiser this weekend, and it's going to be so exciting. I heard it was called an epic dance show, Jennifer. Why did it get that name? What's that all about, and what's this event all about?
It is definitely about dancing, but not just the people that are performing. Our crowd, we like people to come in and have a good time. I used to dance, and I wanted to get women together who haven't danced in a while or that don't get on the stage anymore. And we come up and do a couple of dances, yet everyone around us gets to support us and dance and have a good time, but all for a really good cause.
See, a party with a purpose is always a really good time. I like that. So what are the funds going to go toward, and how are people going to donate? What's the way to share in this story?
Well, there's a ticket admission fee, which is pretty minor, $25.
Yes.
Pretty affordable, but they can also donate more. We're operating in Woodlawn now. We're expanding to a second site in Avalon Park, and our goal is to really address play deserts throughout the city and maybe eventually beyond.
What is the inspiration behind this? We all know what a food desert is, but how do people know there are play deserts? How was this inspiration turned into a project?
I was a foster mom for about 15 years, and it was short-term care, but I had 56 babies between birth to 5 years old.
At one time, Mama?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. But, you know, several nights to several months, but I'd get, it's called container syndrome, and it would be, say, like a 9-month-old who is strapped in a car seat, probably in front of a screen for most of the time. And so they'd be behind developmentally, and I could catch them up during the time I had them. But I thought maybe instead of taking the babies into my home one at a time, it's my turn to go where the need is the greatest. And yeah, I set these play mats up for them, and then they just scream bloody murder. They just hated it when I put them, because they hadn't played. They didn't know what to do. But by the time they left, they were caught up and they were enjoying things beside a screen. And I don't blame the families for any of this. I think with the increasing wealth disparity, families are stretched so thin. But we're just kind of trying to reframe childhood and get them off devices. And families are really learning. They have 2 hours of active play, they have a good nap, they go to sleep, and they sleep through the night.
I mean, physical play does something for your psyche, for your emotional, for your physical, your psychological. It's so important to move. And the younger you start, all the better. And so, Jennifer, talk about the programs. I heard you have sign language programs there.
We do.
Story time. Talk about
We
some
do.
of the other programs that you offer that these funds will help and make these better programs.
Well, we focus really on 0 to 3, up to 5, and we are trying to get our kids at a place where they are ready to enter into preschool or kindergarten, whichever their parents choose to put them in first, right? And so we have a lot of different academies come and help us out that are places where more affluent families can afford to send their kids, but luckily we have partners that donate their time to us. We have places like Bubbles Academy that comes out and spends time with our kids. They sing, they dance, they play, but also Debbie is known for her crafts, so kids get actual craft time at a table.
So big, your hands and moving and creating something, you know, and saying, I did that myself. You know, how rewarding
And it
is
helps
that?
them sit, not just for food or a screen. And I think when they get to school, that's going to be a really good skill for them to have.
Absolutely. When they get to kindergarten, they'll be very prepared for this. As we sign off on this interview, you guys call this a love letter to Chicago. What does that really mean? Both of you share that.
Well, when things, you know, since we have opened as an organization, it's been a pandemic, and then the migrant crisis, and the George Floyd looting, and then, you know, the government shutdown and all this stuff happening in Chicago now. So we need to address the community. And so we did a video that we put together in about 5 days, but a love letter to Chicago. Chicago is tough and spunky and creative, and we just wanted to honor that. But Hello Baby's a love letter to Chicago too.
Absolutely. That's anything you want to add to that as well?
I'm just really excited to be a part of an amazing organization. We have an unbelievable staff, and we would love for you guys to come out this weekend.
Well, let's tell everybody everything about it. It is the Her Story fundraiser. It's taking place on Sunday, everybody. This Sunday, the 21st, from 7 to 9 at night. It's going to be at Bass Line. That's at 2239 South Michigan.
Yes.
You can find all the information there, how to get tickets. It's going to be a party with a purpose. Thank you, ladies. Best blessings on your event this weekend, and happy holidays. And
Same to you.
a wonderful new year. You're doing
you.
great work. Continue to do it. You're changing lives.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, Rob.
Thanks, ladies. Great stuff. Let's take a live look outside right now. The warming trend is continuing throughout the next few days. Cheryl Scott's with us tonight. She's back with your updated AccuWeather forecast. You're going to like the temperatures next. The group of aldermen behind an alternative budget getting their plan approved by a key committee. And the plan presented to the Finance Committee includes raising the plastic shopping bag tax from 10 to 15 cents. And it calls for a pilot program to put advertising on bridge houses as well as light poles. The alternative budget does not include a corporate head tax, which Mayor Johnson has pushed for.
The fact of the matter is, the head tax today should be called the dead tax because it is not passing City Council.
We tried reaching out to the administration, we tried negotiating in good faith, and we couldn't get straight answers. And so we had to do what we are elected to do. We're elected to lead.
In a statement this evening, the mayor says he and his team will spend the next few days reviewing the proposal. The government could shut down if a budget is not passed by the end of the year. I believe that date is the 30th. Yeah, so the clock is ticking.
Today is the 16th, so 14 more days, exactly 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
How many days till Christmas? 9.
Yep, 9 sleeps.
Somebody was doing, so Cheryl has a sign in front of her office, Cheryl Scott, and somebody was changing it for sleeps till Christmas. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was a little elf.
It was a secret Santa, or perhaps,
right,
you know. I think we've been on the good list because how exciting is it 35 degrees? Like, how excited do we get when
it's the naughty list last week or even this weekend, Cheryl? Now you're on the good list.
Right.
How about it?
We'll take every degree we can get at this point. And models showing that temperatures will stay near and above average as we round out this month, which means hopes for a white Christmas are looking rather low at this point in time because rain on the way that's going to wash away the snowpack that's out there right now. Live Doppler 7 max right now. We do have some very, very light, fine precipitation up to the north and west. We're going to stay mostly quiet for the night. An area of drizzle or two can't be ruled out. Right now we sit at 35 degrees, temperatures above freezing for the first time in 5 days. Yesterday, 21, we made it to 40 degrees, the average. 36 will be near and above that as we go into the day tomorrow. But take a look. We were in the deep freeze the past 5 days. Last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, temperatures well below that freezing mark, especially for Sunday when we only had a high of 10. It felt like it was almost 30 below. Yesterday, 21. Today, up to 40. The first day since last Wednesday. Outside right now, near that freezing mark. It won't get too much colder during the overnight as we have a few clouds on the increase. Warm southerly air moving in as well. Relatively warm, comparatively speaking. As we go into our Thursday, we're up to 46, but that's when the next system moves in. This is going to bring us some rain and also some windy conditions with temperatures dropping back below freezing overnight Thursday into Friday. And that's where we could run into some issues as that rain will wash away any treatment or salt out there. And with that moisture, we could have areas that refreeze, a flash freeze, as well as some black ice Friday morning. So big picture, weak little disturbance passing through parts of the Great Lakes this evening. Drizzle not out of the question. Up to the north and west is where the next system is forming. As I put this into motion here, we are looking at that rain getting into our region as we go overnight Wednesday and into Thursday. We dive in closer. Overnight Wednesday, quiet clouds here, and then early Thursday. For your commute, spotty showers here expected, and then we overspread the area with that rain picking up in intensity as we head through the early to mid-afternoon. And you can see models trying to bring in some snow, some wet slushy snow on the backside of this. So we're going to monitor that, but fairly still warm with temperatures above freezing. This will be mainly a rain event. Impact us between about 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and then it's out of here. But on the backside of this, temps come crashing down well below freezing as we head into Friday morning. And that's where we could find a few flurries as well as those road conditions deteriorating with the potential of some slick, icy spots. So that's what we'll be watching out for. And take a look at the wind chills early Friday. It's going to feel like it's anywhere from about 0 to 10 below. So for tonight, upper 20s and low 30s. We're looking at quiet conditions for our Wednesday. Winds pick up. Thursday, rainy and windy. Friday, we're back in the frigid air, but milder conditions over the weekend. Looking quiet. Cold again on Monday into Tuesday, 42. And I can tell you this, into the Christmas holiday, temperatures look to be near 40 or even above, guys.
Yeah, that Bears game is going to be nice because last weekend you could freeze whatever you were drinking was freezing.
Yeah,
right? You sat
beers
out there.
were freezing.
I mean, like your
Unnecessary
Coca-Cola.
cold.
Thanks, Cheryl.
I don't know. Does beer freeze?
It did, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's pictures of that.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know beer could freeze. Okay. All right. Well, you can get your latest forecast, everybody, anytime with the free ABC 7 Chicago News app. Just scan that QR code right there on your screen for links so you can download.
Well, the newest Avatar movie, it hits theaters on Friday.
So tonight, for you, we have a sneak peek with the director, James Cameron. That's for you coming up after the break. It is the cinematic event of the year. And you know what? It is almost here. The premiere of Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Entertainment reporter Joel Gargiulo talks to director James Cameron and members of the cast.
He created a world unlike anything we'd ever seen. Bioluminescent forests, floating mountains, the breathtaking beauty of James Cameron's Pandora.
The strength of the ancestors is here.
The saga that began in 2009 continues, diving into the most visually and emotionally daring territory yet.
You cannot live like this, baby. In hate.
Avatar Fire and Ash follows the Sully clan as they grieve and fight for survival against a vicious threat and a wave of human colonization.
And we will find another way.
Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Sam Worthington, and Stephen Lang return, alongside newcomer Una Chaplin entering the fight.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
As a mom, and as someone who's experienced a lot of grief recently, the themes hit.
I wanted to see people processing hurt and loss and grief and how that down twists them or through which they heal.
It's about this family dynamic. You know, it's the ultimate love story. If you took away all the bells and whistles, it'd still just be about love.
It really is.
Your goddess has no dominion here.
What do you love about this one?
I love how complex it continues to be. I love meeting a new clan, the Mongwan clan.
Like them on the Ikron, the eye contact. I love a woman in rage.
I was laughing, and then I was crying, and then I was booing, and then I was cheering. It feels like you're on a ride.
Everything else that you thought couldn't go wrong goes wrong, and it goes crazy.
And that's why it's so fast paced. That's why you don't think it's 3 hours long.
Yeah,
Because everything is so many things are changing.
In the spirit of the films, how long can you now hold your breath underwater?
6 minutes, 30 seconds.
Somewhere around 5.5, maybe 5:45.
5 minutes, 33 seconds.
6.5 minutes. Something about a James Cameron film.
Yeah.
He has mastered the art of the one-liner. If you could have uttered any of those lines, which line do you wish you got to say?
Get away from her, you.
Get away from her, you.
Oh, yeah! Come on!
And it makes a comeback in this film.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah! I'll be back.
I'll be back.
This world goes much deeper than you imagine.
Thanks to Joel Gargiulo. Avatar, Fire and Ash hits theaters this Friday, ladies.
Very cool.
Are we going?
I think people have
This
bought
Friday?
tickets.
No, I'll be here on air.
We could
with
go
you.
afterward.
Disney is a parent company. We have to tell you that, of course.
Of ABC 7.
Yeah.
I saw the first one. I remember it was a long time ago.
It was like ahead of its time.
Way
We
ahead.
Sat in the theater and watched it.
3 hours.
Yeah, and I think the most popular film ever. Made
Highest
a
grossing
ton
at
of
that
money.
time.
Yes.
Billions, over a billion.
It might still
globally, yeah.
It's
right
worth
up there.
seeing. Just to see Sigourney hold her breath for 6 minutes.
That's
that was
crazy.
crazy.